Okay.
Hey, you're Allison. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for all your help.
Oh,
Who's Jake?
I'm like, are you? Are you?
Gotcha. Thanks for.
So just here.
Oh, so this is okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
And then there's microphones on, and then you can any which way you want.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, I think that's more what we were talking about, similar to what the previous others think about our wetlands and open space, that sort of thing. And if you wanted to. Yes.
you know, just try to kind of come up on the fly with it. I don't want to end it off with all the pictures. So that's what he says.
No, that's what I was just talking about. We talked about the site.
Yeah, mark the race to make sure. I don't know if I can check that. I'll show you. I'm gonna like pass it on to him in terms of his audience if they want to know anything about the actual, I'll present, I'll to approximately 100.
How many of them are underground?
It's more than 270. It's 170. 100 below grade.
Yeah, because we have roughly 100, 100, 105 garage.
Okay, welcome everybody to the town board meeting of February 25th, 2025. On a roll call.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari. Absent. Councilman Brian Donahue.
Here.
Councilman Dan Sullivan.
Here.
Supervisor Teresa Kenny.
Here, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, quick announcement. We have the Town of Orangetown Draft Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System Report available on the town website. We have to announce this as part of our regulatory requirements. So anybody who's interested, they could find that on the town website. Next, we're going to have a presentation. So I guess whoever wants to start from your group, that's fine.
Hi. My name is Jake Verdugo from Alexander Properties, and thank you all for having us tonight. Just a little bit of a background on the project, 155 South Greenbush Road. We've been in the planning boards for the past couple of years, where we were proposing a large warehouse, and due to the opposition that we got from the town and from the the neighbors, we decided to maybe take a look to see if there's perhaps a different use that we can present to you guys tonight. So we went along with our professionals who we have here tonight. We have Stonefeld Engineering and Meyer Design. We put together a proposition. We kind of just wanted to see what the town board thinks of it, and kind of take any questions and kind of go back to the drawing board. So I have a couple of quick facts that I'll present real quick. So the proposition here is to have 160 apartments, 2-bedroom and 1-bedrooms. They would be rentals. We also would like to put in some townhouses as well. 271 total parking spots with a clubhouse and a number of site amenities. And here's kind of the layout of what it would look like off of Greenbush Road. And we still are providing a nice buffer to the wetlands in the rear, with a detention basin in the front. And I'll just scroll through this a little bit more. Here's a colored version of the site plan. Again, this is all merely conceptual. We didn't really dive too deep into it. We wanted to first see what the town's reaction to it is first, and take any questions. Here is a rendering of the site, where you can actually see the townhouses in the front, so that on the road you'll see the townhouses on the front as kind of like a buffer. In the back you'll have the multifamily section. And this slide is showing the difference of what was proposed previously with the warehouse and what is proposed currently, with what we're bringing you tonight with the multifamily. I just wanted to point out that this is the LI zone, and the warehouse is a build of as by right. So this would be, it would need some sort of approvals in order to build the multifamily. So that's why we wanted to show you the differences between what was previously proposed and what we're proposing today. Here's just a few more renderings. Okay, so I would like to pass this on to Paul right now, who was the architect and designer of this, and he can kind of go into the finer details of the site and what we have proposed, and then we can open it up to any questions.
I'll just flip back to the site plan. Paul Butala with Meyer Design. We're based out of Philadelphia, PA. So as Jake mentioned, we're looking to put in a 160-unit apartment building with 20 rental townhomes. The main apartment building will be a 4-story apartment building with below-grade parking. The below-grade parking is accessed from the rear of the building. The way the site slopes, it actually slopes back towards the wetlands, so we're able to work with grade, and at least from the front, we're able to work with grade and get the drive aisles to go behind the building and access the parking garage from the rear of the building. That way we're keeping the bulk of the parking from the front main road, and from viewpoints and just landscaping, it keeps it nice and clean and easily maintained. The townhomes, the 271 spaces that Jake mentioned in terms of total parking, that's just the main apartment building. The townhomes actually are not included in that. They have 2 spaces per unit. They'll have an actual parking. They actually have a garage that's integral to the townhouse, plus they have a driveway, so it's enough space for 2 cars. The site itself is roughly 12 acres. Obviously, the back half of the site, or back third of the site, is wetlands, which you can see the trees would all remain in that location. There is going to be, and we'll call it the southwest corner, planned southwest, that darker green area would be a retention basin. So, and it would be nicely landscaped to keep it nice and clean. And that's strategically placed in that location just because of the way the water runs off and the way we can get the water to get to that detention basin, but it also provides a nice buffer from South Greenbush and creates a nice visual impact as you're coming up the road and sets back our townhouses. We looked at putting the townhouses first because from a scale standpoint, those townhouses are 2.5 story townhouses. Think of a 2-story house with a dormer. So you have that third floor is actually like a half story. Building height wise, you're in the same building height as a residential home, roughly 25 to 28 feet. And what that does, it will shield the view of the larger building behind. The main building itself, as I said, is 4 stories. What we did do, and I'll click to the rendering here, this is the bird's eye view. You can see in the front portions of the main building, we kept it at 2 stories, again, to bring the scale down and just set back the overall size of the building to the rear. This building will be, from the garage standpoint, it's 1 large parking garage below. But from a building standpoint, it looks like it's 3 separate buildings. So we have a building on the left, a building on the right, and it's central to a central clubhouse in between. There will be access hallways on the 1st and 2nd floor to that clubhouse, but from a visual standpoint, it will look like 2 smaller apartment buildings. And again, we did that just so it didn't have the impression of 1 large apartment building coming down the road. Going back to the site, and I'm sorry to keep bouncing back and forth, as you're coming planned south down Greenbush, that we'll call it the northwest corner, again, grass area. The nice part about this proposal is obviously warehouse, a lot of pavement, a lot of pervious coverage, and really, will jump out from a visual standpoint as you're driving down the road. This will have a lot of green up in the front and tree-lined plantings, and it will really soften the impact with the green in the plantings as you're driving down the road. And after about 4 or 5 years, as those trees mature, the building becomes less and less apparent. We do have we'll call it the front of the building, we have some amenity areas. So we have a courtyard on the left-hand side. We have in front of the clubhouse, we have a turnaround with some accessible parking and some parking for visitors or deliveries. And then on the right-hand side, we have a pool area. Nice and close to the clubhouse, direct access to the clubhouse, but also set behind the townhouses. So again, it's not viewed right from the road, and we have a nice shielded presence there. Amenities, obviously common to rentals. There'll be a small dog park that will be located at the rear of the building, and walking paths and things of that nature. The clubhouse would have your typical apartment amenities, fitness center, office space, and obviously changing rooms for the pool area. And your mail and your package rooms would be located in there, as well as also leasing office. And then as we go, as Jake mentioned, we wanted to put a comparison together just to show the lower right image is the warehouse. I noted it in red just so visually you could see it. We superimposed that in the same exact location over our building. So you can see we're trying to hold the townhouse to where the proposed warehouse was along that front portion of South Greenbush. So we're really not encroaching any farther than what that warehouse was going to be proposed. But you can see the overall effect. It's probably, the front half of that warehouse that sat 50 or so feet high was, within 100 feet, a little over 100 feet of South Greenbush, whereas our main building sits back from the front edge of the warehouse another 100 to 120 feet. And then not only that, but we created this C-shaped, reverse C-shaped building, again, to set it back even further. So that way it's, again, from a visual standpoint, trying to keep it as far back on the site as possible. And then just a few quick renderings. Obviously, these are conceptual, but we're looking at, incorporating stone, a mixture of horizontal and vertical siding, just to change up the overall scale of the building, get the articulation in the building. The building will, with the balconies, we'll get a good vertical articulation and also horizontal articulation with the different detail elements with it. This is a view looking south on Greenbush, basically in that open area as you're driving down Greenbush. And then this would be a view from the opposite side. Again, buildings are going to be mirrored, so they will be the same on both sides. And you can see the walking paths that we're proposing. This would be the drive aisle that would be between the townhouse and the apartment building. Townhouses would be off view to your left. And then this would be the view from the main road. So you can see from a scale standpoint, and this would be at a 6 foot, 5'6" to a 6 foot level, looking out at the site. And so you can see how those townhouses really obscure the view of that main apartment building. And this is another view from the opposite side. This is actually the rear of the building. So you can see the lower corner is the parking garage entrance. So from the rear of the building, it would be a 5-story building technically, if you're looking at it just from a visual standpoint. And I think that is it. Any questions?
Just a few quick questions.
Yes.
Are these rentals or for sale?
They are rentals.
The rentals?
Townhouses and the main apartment building are all rentals.
All rentals?
Yes.
The townhouses also? Okay.
Yes.
Where are you at with the warehouse? 'Cause,
That is a good
where
question.
are you in the permit process? And
I'll let Jake answer that.
So we held off where we last were at with the warehouse. We received a POS deck. We can work on the scoping portion of the positive declaration that we received for the warehouse. Obviously, that would take us some time. It's not something we started yet. We wanted to first see what our options were prior to starting that process. But it is something we would work on depending on what we hear tonight.
since obviously we weren't presented the warehouse, how many trucks were in the warehouse? You had to give something to the building department, right? I'm just trying to compare, was it 100 trucks a day compared to 300 cars, or what is it?
It was quite a few trucks. I don't have the exact number. We do have our engineer here. How many loading docks? Yeah, we had 18 loading docks. The way it works is we went in for 2 applications for 125 South Greenbush Road and 155 South Greenbush Road. 125 South Greenbush Road has a vacant office, and that office was to be demolished and extended the warehouse portion, which was around 125,000 square feet, I believe. And then 155 South Greenbush, which is completely vacant at the moment. There's nothing there, just a piece of land. The proposal was to put up another 110,000 square foot warehouse as well with 18 loading docks, and there would be a shared road between 125 South Greenbush and 155 South Greenbush, creating an industrial park, so to say.
So only one building had 18 docks, the other?
The other one had also around 20 docks. Was
Okay,
125
so
South
38
Greenbush.
loading docks,
Yes.
okay.
That's pre-existing on 125.
125, I don't know the number off the top of my head, how many loading docks
I
it currently
did have
has,
the rendering
but we
somewhere.
were going to extend it when we knocked down that office building to create the warehouse.
The warehouse.
So if you had, well, let's just say 40, just for sake of
Right.
ease. If you had 40 loading docks, then you would assume, 20 trucks a day? Drop one off, pick one up, and get out of there?
Probably more.
Okay, such
We-
as?
We did traffic
Would it
studies.
be 20, or would it be 80 trucks a day?
Probably closer to I would say probably around 50 trucks a day.
Okay.
We did extensive traffic studies and truck parking calculations. I would have to refer back to that, along with our traffic consultant who did all the studies. But yeah, it's totally different than what we are presenting today, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I think that kind of what the underlying issue here is that I think under normal circumstances, the board would probably not be some of them anyway, amenable to something like this, but we recognize that a lot of the residents are not happy with the warehouses, and they've been very vocal about that, and so this is really just an opportunity to hear from the residents, which they would prefer, I had reached out to some, and I know their initial reaction was, without any details, they like the idea of residential over the warehouse right away. Again, not knowing how many or whatever, things like that, so. Okay, I have a question for you. I mean, I understand this is conceptual, so I know it's not, whatever,
Right.
but if this, what you're proposing was to be approved, what's the approximate height of the tallest?
So the warehouse was proposed at 50 feet. To the top parapet, the highest point of our building, we would be at 40 feet max.
This would be 40, the warehouse was 50?
Yes. Yeah. And again, our apartment building is set back roughly about 110, 115 feet from the front edge of where the warehouse was. And then, as I noted, the townhouses are to the mean roof, we're in that 28 feet range.
Right.
And then, the two-story elements are roughly 24 feet with the parapet. Those smaller two-story
Right.
elements at the front portion.
I'm sorry, what was that again? How many feet?
The smaller portions on the main apartment building,
Yep.
the front edges, they're 2 stories. They're roughly, 24 feet.
24 feet, right.
And you obviously have a certain number of units in your head that makes this economically feasible. I mean, is that negotiable? I mean, the supervisor mentioned height. Is that something that can be discussed, cut back? Is it affordable housing? Is it going to be targeted to seniors, first responders, or community volunteers, or anything?
So we haven't gone that deep into it. We do want this to be market rate at the moment, but in terms of the amount of units, right now it's currently at 160. If that were to go down, that's something that would have to discuss internally to see if it's economically feasible for us to do at that point if it gets shrunk.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like the design. I think it's very, like the neutral colors, kind of woodsy colors, whatever. I just think the height on the tallest parts of and again, I understand it's set back, but I think the height makes it seem much more than it really is, to be honest with you. But I do like the little outdoor sitting areas. I like,
There's parking beneath the buildings?
Yeah,
Correct.
so the
There's
one picture-
approximately 100 parking spots below grade.
So
I
the
think we have-
outside is just additional parking for?
Correct.
I know it's conceptual, like we've all said, but any idea what price points would be? I know that probably hasn't been.
We don't know, especially it's a little tough with the town of Orangetown. There's not many comps. There's nothing like this currently within the town, we understand. We think that this could actually help retain maybe some of the younger folk who, instead of moving out from the town of Orangetown, this would be a great place for them to maybe settle into, because, for price of purchasing homes, it gets increasingly difficult. So we tend to, we can say a certain price point now, but that could all change by the time this is all said and done and approved. So we would have to run, comparables in neighboring areas.
Well, being you have a dog park, I guess you don't allow dogs.
We typically, in all our buildings, we allow dogs.
Yeah,
in
you
all-
pay extra for your dog.
Yeah.
They're worth every penny, but anyway.
Absolutely.
Come on, I thought you were gonna get up and, my town clerk over there, you were gonna get up and speak and say you like them. She saw the renderings in my office and she said she liked them.
Oh, that's great.
Questions, comments?
I just think 160 it seems like a lot. I don't know, it's really, I'd like to hear what the community has to say.
Yeah,
but-
me too.
I mean,
Me
I
too.
think that having a warehouse, and we just had a big discussion about the master plan being redone recently, and it is an LI zone. it was zoned for warehousing, and it's on a New York State highway. I mean, that's why, you know, I'm trying to figure out the balance between an 18-wheeler truck versus 5 cars.
What I'd really like is you see right to the west, they're homes, they're residential. I'd be curious to know what the people who live closest, you know, to it are thinking. You know, I viewed it and I, you know, again, but for the fact that we know that a lot of people are not happy about those trucks, we wouldn't have made it this far, but, you know, it is somewhat like they refer to it transitional. You're going from the warehouse over into the residential, because the rest of Greenbush Road is residential, so that's where they say sometimes it's appropriate for multifamily. So, I mean, I guess I said we'll have to hear the feedback. I'm hoping people are watching this on Facebook or YouTube or Verizon or whatever, and they give us their feedback. So,
I find it an interesting alternative. I agree a little bit with Dan. Maybe we could do something on the number of units or the height of the building. Normally, I'm, as Teresa knows, against multifamily. That's not something that really fits in this area. But people were very, very adamant how they had enough warehouses and they didn't want one here. So I'd like to hear what the community has to say. But thank you for the presentation.
yeah, thank you. We'll get back to you with any questions, and, you know, if we get any feedback, either way, we'll certainly let you know.
Thank you for your time.
Okay,
We really appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Eric, I'm not gonna miss you this time. Last time it was on the agenda, and I blew right by it. I didn't even know I did it. He was like,
Oh, sure. No, I don't need that.
You guys have it, right? He's talking about the fees, yeah, right there.
So did you want me to just talk about it a little
Yeah,
bit?
well,
or-
yeah, just kind of
Okay.
explain, I guess, if there's new and maybe, if you
Yeah,
wanna, you know.
so it's been a few years since we've updated our fee schedule. So what you have in front of you right now is what we're proposing for 2025. You know, pretty much every category we went up because it's been a while, so we're just due to go up in general. We did have one format change. We think it'll just make it a little easier for us and a little easier for the people who rent some of our spaces to kind of navigate the fee schedule, which is we're switching to just an hourly rate. Most groups go for 2 or more hours, but we had in our old fee schedule 2-hour blocks, 2.5-hour blocks, 3-hour blocks, and then you get into the thing where we have it as a 3-hour block and somebody only wants to be there for 2 hours, so you're always kind of trying to adjust the fee to their use. So just to keep things simple, we're going with a 1-hour fee. If you kind of do the math out, you can see it's an increase based on multiple hours. It's still going to be more than what they had paid previously. I know there was a question about the filming fee that I had included
Yeah,
on there.
Before you get there, though.
Okay.
I just wanted these other fees, the hourly, is that how, like, the other town, like Clarkstown, and do they charge hourly? Do you know, have you
Yes,
compared to what we?
mostly what we found was hourly charges in other places. I mean, you can still, I'm sure, find some that are doing blocks of time, but, you know, it seemed like people were kind of doing the hourly fee, and that made some sense to us. It seemed like it would make it easier for us. So there was a question that had been asked. of
Yeah, well, on the
the-
filming.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that in place of any of the fees that are currently charged for filming. It was more just if the filming is going to use a park and it's likely to disrupt public access, you know, it would just, I think it
Okay,
looks
so
better.
when they get a permit to film on town land, they pay, it's $5,000 for the day. Do I get that right? It's 3,000, okay. So, we're just you know, it seems like we're adding, you know, we would almost prefer to up that fee and not charge them an extra $100 an hour than, I don't know, it just seems like we're double dipping.
It was my suggestion, that's all. There's a lot of other fees on there.
Let me guess, the $100 goes straight to you and the other money.
No, it does not go straight to me.
Okay, I'm just,
Maybe it could go to the Park Trust or
Yeah,
something, but no,
yeah.
it doesn't go straight to me.
well, I didn't mean you. I didn't mean you.
Do you have to provide men or anything when you're in parkland?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you have to provide manpower? Like,
Oh, so,
park
well,
ranger or-
They pay
as,
for that
as an
too.
example, when we
They
had
pay
the
for that.
filming a couple weeks ago at Vets, we did have 2 park rangers there for traffic control, but the groups do get charged
pay.
for that.
They get charged
Yeah,
separately?
yes, we absolutely do charge them the rate that's for an individual and a vehicle together. It's 90, I think I believe the filming code says, I think it's no less than $95 an hour, something like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, okay, so we're actually triple dipping then.
Well, in that case, they're reimbursing us for labor. It's not
No, no,
really
I know,
a charge.
I know, but, so I didn't, I mean, at some point it gets a little bit,
Yeah, when you first look at this, you're like, wow, that's pretty reasonable, you know. But then as you look at it a little closer, you're going from 80 to 125. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's why I said it's probably worth a discussion and asking questions and giving them feedback.
I like the per hour thing too. I think it
I'm
makes
sorry?
it
Yeah,
easier
that
for you.
seems,
I
the hour, we
understand.
like the hourly rate as
The
opposed
hourly?
to,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I guess. I mean, look, I don't think these guys, they don't blink over
The film.
the filming.
You
They
know,
don't blink over
keeping
Bob.
in
It just
mind
seems
with,
like-
with regard to, at least as far as athletic field use, the bulk of the use that we see in our parks is the local youth sports groups, like Pearl River Little League, South Orangetown Little League. You know, those groups, historically, we've never really charged them, other than if they have light use, we charge them for the use of the lights. So probably 70% of our use that we issue permits for is, kind of falls into that group there, the
Right.
youth sports organizations. So the fees don't get assessed all that much.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Nor do I.
Okay, I think they sound like they're good with it,
Okay,
okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. I just have to talk about that filming one, okay. Okay, so workshop of agenda items. We fortunately have somewhat of a light agenda tonight. Number 3 is, I think we had discussed, this is an amendment to the contract to sale. We're in contract to buy the Olson Center, the property down on the Hudson River. We did an oil tank search. We have identified that there may be an oil tank or storage tanks on the property. So we had to do an amendment with the church regarding who's paying, we're gonna pay for it, and they're gonna reimburse us, and so it's just an amendment to the contract related to the tanks that we found. Oh, we think we found. I mean, they haven't done them yet, right? So anyway, that's authorizing the amendment. Number 4 is authorizing an employee disciplinary is being resolved, settled. So this is authorizing the town board to settle the disciplinary proceeding. Number 5, appoint Walter Scott Wheatley to the chairperson of the Historic Areas Board of Review. 6, we have a new appointment. We had a bunch of people leave Haybar, so I think this will be the last. We'll be up to full staff with this one. Appoint Marjorie Gallen to a member of the Historic Areas Board of Review. I guess she is filling somebody's term, so she would be basically until the end of this year. She's taken Peggy Rasso's position on the board. Number 7, reappoint the Substance Abuse Committee. That's for a 1-year term. Number 8 is the standard workday. This is the whole have to keep a calendar. It looks like Dan's the only lucky one that had to do it this year, but this time. But yeah, for purposes of the New York State retirement system, we have to accept it. Number 9, approve the Highway Department open house. That's always a great day. It's May 17th from 10 to 12. It's a great time for the kids and adults. So if you're free, this is basically authorizing them to host it. Number 10, authorize the extension of the municipal snow and ice agreement with New York State DOT. Looks like it's basically the state reimburses us for doing this kind of snow control on their roads, and they reimburse us, and this is extending the contract through 2029. And Jim Dean's here if anybody has questions. Number 11, approve the Superintendent of Highways to attend in Albany the 2025 Highway Advocacy Day at a big cost of $250. Number 12, recognize the appointment, again, this is Jim Dean's appointment of Christopher Yanazone to the position of Motor Equipment Operator 2, probationary, effective February 10th. Number 13 is the approve the memorandum of understanding with the Rockland County Sheriff and all the other towns regarding the REACT, which is the Rescue, Entry, and Counterterrorism team. So Orangetown participates in it, so all the parties sign an agreement. Number 14, we have approved the surplus of vehicles for DEME. Wait, where's Eric? Is Eric still here? Where'd he go? He ran out of here? Want to say about his new truck. Allison, did he get his new truck? Yes. Is he out there? Eric, come on, I want to hear about your new truck. I want to hear about, you're like a kid with a candy shop. Okay. So we got we had grant money and we got a Ford F-150 pickup truck, electric. So Demi got one and Eric got one. So, okay, he looks like he's happy with it. Good to know. Drive it safely. Number 15, appoint Maria Camus to the senior clerk typist provisional in Justice Court. This is replacing an employee that left. Number 16, we're going to combine and approve agenda items 17 through 19, which are lend assistance, one for the 2025 Flying Dutchman 5K on March 22nd, one is for the St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 23rd, and one is the JFCS Wheels for Meals, Ride to Fight Hunger on June 8th. And then we have the audit, so there we go. Okay, so can I get a motion to open the public comment?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so the first person I have to sign up here is Yasmin Dar.
Hello. I was just here for an update regarding the municipal bus service, about the meeting that was held regarding the Nyack College buses. But I also, that was number one, I also, while I was happened to be here, I noticed this lend assist approval for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I'm under the understanding that the council has to vote on any lend assist for public resources. And my question is, was this voted on for the assist that was given to the event that happened at Nyack College with the highway department and the barricades of the roads in the area?
Okay, we don't answer back and forth, so you can leave your questions and
That's
then.
it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else? No, this is the only one that signed up. Is there anybody else here who would like to speak that did not sign up?
Come on up.
You're coming up. Just again, if you don't mind just saying your name clearly so the clerk can get it for the minutes.
Name in town.
Hi, my name is Karen Esposito. I'm from Orangeburg, and I just came to listen to this new proposal for this apartment complex. And I'm just curious, is there an option 3? Because it just seems odd that there'll be apartments in a residential neighborhood that's 5-story buildings with 160 people. How will that affect the schools? How will that affect our school taxes? Will it be low income? So I just want to hear more about that.
Okay. Is there anybody else who hasn't had a chance to, that didn't sign up that wants to speak? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, motion to close?
Motion to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm just going to try to address as best I can.
Is the chief here?
What's that?
Is the chief here? You want to get in? He was at the
He
meeting.
was here, is the chief, yeah. Chief, you wanted to come in, I know you had the meeting about the school buses, so you just want to come up, but just about the school, I know you had the meeting with the college about the school buses, about the buses, not school buses, buses.
So we had, I don't have the date off the top of my head that we met. We did meet with the school bus supervisor, mentioned that the buses, there is one bus that does idle on the property, and that is due to diesel fuel, and when it gets to be a certain temperature, when it's too cold or too hot, it will need to, I don't know a lot about that, but it will need to idle. It's usually up to 20 minutes or so between the stop that they're on and the next stop, but that should be the only one idling. They only pick up at stops, is what we were told. They don't, like, they won't be flagged down by people to pick them up. And any unsafe driving, breaking the law stuff, they would like to know about it. They do have cameras. They do have, they're able to see how fast the vehicles are going. They do monitor it, is what he was saying to us. And if somebody, you know, points out something, they are able to go back and check on it as well. And all the answers were things we needed to hear. Whether they're all accurate, time will tell as we monitor it going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So was there any mention of blocking residential driveways? No, they only go to specific
They do have
spots?
specific bus stops, so I don't know what the bus stops are. I can get that for the supervisor to find out where the bus stops are supposed to be, and I could forward that to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. As far as, you know, I'd have to go back, I don't remember what we did with Lend Assistance or not. I do know they got permits. They got permits from both, they worked closely with the police department, and they worked with our building department on they needed one for the tent. So they contacted the town in advance to see what they needed to do, and they followed all the directions they were given. So I can't speak to any more specifics than that, other than know that they did apply for permit for the tent and, you know, whatever they need to do with the police for security. So that's all I have on that. As far as the option 3, look, it's zoned for a warehouse. They will ultimately get the warehouse if they can do what they need to do. So I don't think they're looking to just build what we want, you know. I mean, again, I think if, and I'm not speaking for them by any means, but if this ends up not being what the neighborhood wants, they will, I would presume, probably go back to the warehouse. But again, I'm not speaking for the owners of the land. And that's all I got. Anybody else? Anything else? No. Okay. So
Teresa,
Yeah.
Jim might know about the assistance at,
I don't think.
for the South Nyack situation. I think I spoke to Stefan about it with that event. I think he said there were that there was no need for a town board resolution because, what do you recall what the
Yeah, that's why I didn't
assistance was provided? What's that?
I'm figuring poor Jim doesn't remember. That's why I didn't ask him.
Oh.
Yeah.
The traffic control with the highway department might put in place was not needed because the police department took care of it.
Okay.
Right, so it's not like it was the St. Patrick's Day.
Right, where you
Right.
put the trucks. We
You
put the
didn't
trucks
have
and everything.
people
Right.
there, right?
The highway department did not have,
Okay.
although we did know they were using the road, because they have to apply for a permit.
Okay. Okay, so we have the first item we have again is the amendment
I
to
don't know
the.
if you closed the public portion. Did you vote on
Did.
closed public portion?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, please, I get enough cues. Don't be confusing me even more than I already am. Yeah, so can I get a motion to authorize, basically authorize me to sign the amendment to the contract of sale for the property in South Nyack?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 4, approve, authorize the stipulation of settlement with employee number 4399. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to appoint Walter Wheatley to the chairperson of the Historical Areas Board of Review?
Scotto.
Oh, yeah, Scott Wheatley. Yeah, we totally threw us off with the name. Okay. I'm going to call him Walter from now on. Okay. So Paul made the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Scotto.
Okay. Can I get a motion to appoint Marjorie Gallen as a member of the Historic Areas Board of Review, effective 2/25 to 12/31/2025? Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
motion to reappoint the Substance Abuse Committee for the one-year term of 2025 as indicated there. Motion?
Motion?
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
You're on a roll, Brian.
Yeah.
You have to, I don't know, does he have to recuse himself from this next one? Not you.
No, me.
Yeah, Dan has to, yeah, okay. Okay, so I guess we'll just.
I recuse myself. It's about me. It's talking about me.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, and on a roll call, I guess? I don't know, I'm winging this. So it'll be for the record that you recuse yourself.
Councilman Paul Valentine?
Yes.
Jerry is absent. Councilman Brian Donahue?
Yes.
Dan is excused. Supervisor Teresa
Yes.
Kenny?
Okay, item number 9, approve the Highway Department open house for Saturday, May 17th, from 10 to 12. Motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, a motion to authorize the extension of the municipal snow and ice agreement with the New York State DOT through 2029. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to grant permission for a superintendent of highways to attend the Highway Advocacy Day. Motion? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Recognize the appointment of Chris Yanazone to the position of Motor Equipment Operator 2. Motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Get a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Rockland County Sheriffs and all the local enforcement departments regarding the REACT team. Motion?
Motion?
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 14, approve the surplus of, 3 vehicles in DEME? Yep, 3 vehicles in Department of Environmental Management and Engineering. Motion?
It's a good deal. You give them one truck, you get 3 back. I make a motion.
I'll second.
Look, 2006 one of them is from, 2007, you know?
Don't look at my truck.
Okay, wait, who made a motion?
I did.
I second.
And a second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 15, appoint Maria Camus to the position of Senior Clerk Typist Provisional in the Justice Court. Motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to combine and approve agenda items 17 through 19?
Motion to combine and approve 17 to 19.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No, we can't hear you. No, I don't think it's him. I think it's the microphone. Is it on?
The green light's on.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there you go. You gotta
Aye.
stand up taller.
You have to stand on your tippy toes.
Okay, the audit for tonight's meeting consists of 4 warrants for $2.3 million. Items of interest, number 1, Fred Devens Construction, $120,000 for Tier 4 pump station repairs. Number 8, Capasso and Sons, $102,000 for recycling. Number 11, the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $33,000 for dental benefits. Number 17, Department of Civil Service, $1 million for healthcare benefits. Number 21, Troon Golf, $209,000 for the golf course management contracts. And number 22, Virtuit Systems, $126,000 for IT backup services for the whole year. Any questions on the audit?
No? Can I get a motion to accept the audit?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
What Brian's throwing us off because he's so active down there tonight all of a sudden. Okay, so we do have executive session. We have a personnel-related matter. I That's it, right? Anything else, legal counsel? No, we're good down there? Okay, we do have 2 adjournments. Ann Bertucci, a resident of Pearl River, and James Slag Jr., resident of Pearl River. So can I get a motion to, we're not going to come out, we're not going to vote on anything after this, so we will be done. So can I get a motion to go into executive session, adjourn, and
Motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.